The Galactic Command Academy Survival Assessment Chamber hummed with barely contained energy as 200 of the galaxy's finest military cadets filed in. Representatives from 47 different species had gathered for what instructors called the Crucible, an examination so brutal that a 60% failure rate was considered generous. Zekthor, a towering Draknari warrior whose species had conquered 17 star systems, cracked his knuckles with sounds like breaking timber. Beside him, Lys Endra's crystalline form refracted the chamber's harsh lighting as her people's natural precognitive abilities attempted to glimpse what lay ahead. The Vorthon telepaths clustered together, their collective consciousness already strategizing. And then there was Marcus Chen. The human sat cross-legged on the floor, eyes closed, wearing what could only be described as a serene smile. While others checked their equipment or engaged in last-minute preparations, Marcus appeared to be meditating. "Attention, cadets," Commander Vexnal's voice boomed through the chamber. The veteran Caraxian's battle scars told stories of conflicts that had shaped the current galactic peace. "You have exactly 72 hours to survive what we call the Nightmare Protocol. Environmental hazards will intensify every 12 hours. Food and water are limited. Medical assistance is non-existent. The temperature will fluctuate between -40 and +60 degrees Celsius. Gravitational fields will shift randomly. And..." The commander's mandibles clicked ominously. "You'll face automated combat drones programmed with the tactical knowledge of our greatest military minds." Nervous chittering erupted from the insectoid Clicktar representatives. Several Aquarian gills fluttered anxiously. Marcus opened his eyes and stretched, still smiling. The chamber transformed. Walls shifted into jagged terrain resembling a dozen different hostile worlds. Gravity suddenly tripled, sending unprepared cadets crashing to their knees. The temperature plummeted, and emergency lighting cast everything in hellish red shadows. Within the first hour, the Vorthon collective fractured under the stress of maintaining telepathic links in the electromagnetic chaos. The Draknari warriors, despite their impressive strength, found their traditional berserker tactics useless against enemies that learned and adapted. Precision became impossible as environmental conditions shifted without warning. Marcus, meanwhile, had found a small alcove and was sharing his emergency rations with an injured Zephyrian whose wing membrane had torn during a gravity fluctuation. "Why are you helping me?" wheezed Silthara, her avian features tight with pain. "We're competitors." "Are we?" Marcus asked, carefully bandaging the wing with strips from his own uniform. "I thought we were all trying to become officers in the same fleet." By hour 18, half the cadets had triggered their emergency beacons, admitting defeat. The combat drones had proven particularly devastating. Learning from each encounter, they'd developed tactics specifically designed to counter each species' natural advantages. The remaining cadets watched in bewilderment as Marcus approached a group of malfunctioning drones. Instead of fighting or fleeing, he sat down in front of them and began talking. "I know you're programmed to test us," he said conversationally, even as laser targeting systems painted red dots across his chest. "But you're stuck in a feedback loop. Your left servo is damaged and you're overcompensating." The lead drone's optical sensors whirred as it processed this information. Slowly, almost hesitantly, it powered down its weapons. "Impossible," breathed Zekthor, who was watching from behind a boulder. "Those drones don't have conversational protocols." Marcus spent the next hour helping the damaged drones repair themselves, using components from his survival kit. In return, the drones provided shelter for several injured cadets. When the gravity shifted again, this time to nearly zero, most remaining cadets struggled with disorientation and motion sickness. Marcus had somehow fashioned handholds from debris, creating a navigation network that other cadets began using. "How did you know the gravity would shift there?" asked Lys Endra, her crystalline form flickering with fatigue. "I didn't," Marcus replied, anchoring a safety line for her. "But it seemed like a good idea to be prepared for movement in 3 dimensions. As environmental conditions reached their harshest volcanic heat, combined with Arctic winds creating impossible thermal gradients. The few remaining cadets huddled in the shelter Marcus had helped establish, he'd somehow convinced the repaired drones to use their energy shields as environmental barriers. Commander Vexnal and the other instructors watched through monitoring stations with growing amazement. "His species has no natural advantages," muttered the Draknari instructor. No enhanced strength, no telepathy, no adaptive physiology. How is he not only surviving but helping others thrive? Look at his stress indicators, added the Aquarian observer. His cortisol levels are actually decreasing. On the final day, as systems began failing and the chamber became a genuine death trap, Marcus made a decision that baffled everyone. He activated his emergency beacon, not to surrender but to broadcast a message to all remaining cadets. This isn't a survival test. His voice echoed through failing communication systems. It's a leadership assessment. They don't want to see who can outlast the systems, they want to see who can bring everyone home. Within 6 hours, Marcus had organized the 15 remaining cadets into an efficient survival community. The Vorthon telepaths provided early warning of system changes. The Draknari offered protection. The Aquarians managed their limited water supplies. The crystalline Zephyrians focused light for warmth and navigation. When the 72 hours ended, Marcus was the only cadet still smiling. More importantly, he was one of 12 cadets, the highest survival rate in the examination's history, who had passed together. Commander Vexnell approached as medical teams treated the exhausted cadets. "Cadet Chen," the Caraxian said, "your species has no enhanced capabilities, no evolutionary advantages. How did you not only survive but help others succeed?" Marcus's smile widened. "Respectfully, sir, I think you're wrong about humans having no advantages." "Such as?" "We're really good at making friends." The commander's mandibles clicked in what might have been laughter. "Report to advanced command training on Monday. Lieutenant Chen, it seems we have much to learn about human tactics." As Marcus helped his fellow cadets to the medical bay, still wearing that inexplicable smile, word began spreading through the academy about the human who had turned the galaxy's most brutal examination into a team-building exercise. The galaxy was about to discover that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology or strength. It was their stubborn refusal to leave anyone behind.